now. They've had some good games. They've had some learning games. The one against Sector 1, for example, which is still, it knackered me completely.
It really knocked me out.
I'm still tired of shite. But great game. They probably learned a lot from that one as well. As we are going to jump into this first draft ban pick, everything blue versus red phase between these two teams, as Zoe and Nidalee taken away from Hank and Ollie, and Jax is actually banned away from Mortar, which is I understand because he's a good Jax player, but I don't think he ever will play Jax, even if it is open, because of the possibilities of the Shen of the Wukong, which we've seen him play before and play him really well, and it actually fits better in their playstyle, in my opinion.
But do you want to risk it? Do you want to risk leaving open
The biscuit.
one of his best picks?
Yes.
And then questionable, why do they leave the Wukong open, which is also one of his best picks? So that is what we feel here. Kai'Sa, of course, being picked up very early in the draft again. Most AD carries switch towards the Kai'Sa if they have the possibility, just because he is so strong. At the moment in the meta, we've seen what Mandrago could do on it against Sector 1. And we'll see if Mauki has the same level of impact there. Of course, KVM Mechelen picking up that Hecarim for Ollie, probably going with the Smite Ignite again for that backline threat. And the Karma pickup, we've seen Mortar play today already with Grasp on top lane. But of course, it's a good flex pick if they want to swap it out to the mid lane or support as well.
Yeah. Of course, you can bring the Karma basically anywhere on the map. As Hecarim does go to Ollie, so, one of his more comfortable picks. He played it the previous game as well, and played that really well, actually. So, Scuttle Squad gonna have to be careful for that one. Of course, right now they do have the Galio, which is gonna have some global pressure as well, combined with a Camille in top lane, which, gives you the impression that they're gonna want to go for a split push comp, so a 4-1 or a 1-3-1 possibly. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what KVM actually wants to, put against the Camille in the top lane, and that actually justifies the Jax pick, in my opinion, because Jax is actually very fine in the split push. So taking that away from Mortar at this point is actually okay. He could go for Shen to try and battle it out with the Camille in the split push. We'll have to see what they do on the side of KVM, as Twisted Fate and Leona actually get taken away.
And KVM Mechelen keeping the possibility open that Galio might be the support instead of the mid laner, so they do not want to give them the double global with Twisted Fate on the mid lane as well. Keeping that there. And of course, when Galio is picked so early in the draft, it's easy for KVM Mechelen to play around it, not pick too much heavy ability power damage, because of course Galio gives that shield over to his entire team. And as you said, the split push is there. We'll see if Ollie goes for a Karma against Camille, which is a possibility, but also risky, because Camille, late game, she will totally destroy that Karma, or at least should, at that level of play. And Xayah, we haven't seen it from Mandrago yet. We could also see a Rakan put next to it if Karma is not the support. And then you, of course, have that power bot lane. Annie will be locked in here as a placeholder, probably, unless they play Annie, which I would be a huge fan for. But I'm guessing we're going to get something in very soon, what this pick actually is.
So the Annie is indeed a placeholder. It's going to be Wukong going to come through there. And we got a little bit of a message, which everybody on stream can watch with, of course. No, so Wukong is going to be locked in there for Mortar. Wukong Camille, I think he played the matchup once before, 1 or 2 weeks ago. And
two
won.
times, I think, even.
He played it against Sector 1's Electro, and he's actually, a known Camille player, I guess. Really likes the champion. It's, I think, his favorite or most played, best played champion, and actually won the lane with Wukong against Camille. So interesting to see if he's going to be able to do the same thing once again, as Janna actually gets picked up and Nami. But I feel like one or the other is going to be a placeholder We're not getting any messages through yet, but we'll see what that's going to be. Otherwise, I have no idea what Scuttle Squad's planning to do here.
Well, I'm gonna guess neither of those picks will be jungle, so we're gonna have to look at something else. Not sure if Kami or Galio could take the jungle role on them. Definitely not a prefer for them. And the Rakan is being picked up, and I love seeing something else from KVM Mechelen here, because we've seen so many Kai'Sa from Mind Dragon, we've seen the Vayne, we've seen the Misfortune, and now we see Zaya Khan, which is also for Bisco a first in this open tour. He has been playing a lot of Leona Nautilus. Last game, he picked up Seraphine for the first time in this open tour, and now he changes up with Rakan, so he shows that he is more than just the heavy tank engage player. He can play other champions too. And yeah, I'm still wondering, was it really the Jenna Nami? Is there nothing coming in for a placeholder?
No, so we got the placeholder. Jenna is going to be a placeholder for Lilia eventually. Gonna go Bambi in the jungle.
There it is.
That does mean that we're just going to see a Nami, which, you know, works out with the Imperial Mandate. Gonna put that next to Kai'Sa for some sustain in the Xayah Rakan lane as well, which, you know, gonna scale well into the late game with the Xayah, of course. Mind Drago gonna pick up that AD carry for the first time this open tour. And once again, as always, KVM going for a basically simple, straightforward composition. We engage and we play team fights.
Still, at bot lane is something else. So they are showing some sort of variation from their comfort zone. And also Karma for Hank. We've seen him with two champions that had a lot of damage, a lot of impact with Orianna and Azir. Karma has another playstyle. Okay, she can do a lot of damage with the inner flame, but she is more picked for her utility to the team. And I love the combo with Hecarim, who of course gets more damage when he is sped up by himself or other champs. So that will be even more carry potential for Ollie here. And of course, this meta being a jungle carry meta is good for them. However, the combo from Galio Camille can still really hurt them if they do not get those lanes ahead. So we'll see if Mortar can go for a 3 in a row matchup against this Camille, because he have beaten it twice already in previous games. So Admavoda should know that this is a monkey to watch out for.
Yes, as both teams are going to finally go through the draft a second time, this time picking the correct champions, of course, with quite a lot of AP on the side of the Scuttle squad here, on the side of 4 elements, with Lilia, Galio, Kai'Sa, and Nami all doing a lot of AP damage. The other side is pretty AD heavy, aside from, of course, Karma in the mid lane, which has a big burst up front, but presumably another Moonstone Renewer Karma this time in the mid lane instead of the top lane. Could of course go for Ludens or Leandri's, but you know, because the Moonstaff even build is so strong at this point, I'm just expecting her to actually go for that build. As we're gonna start and load up into the first game, of course we do have the 3-minute delay, which is gonna come in right now. So KVM, they have a bit a straightforward team fighting composition with the engage from Hecarim, from Mortar's Wukong, followed up, of course, with a even more engage from Rakan with his jump and ult. Karma just being there to enable the carries. On the other side, we have the split push 1-4 composition with the Camille. So it's always interesting to see which team is able to actually play out their game plan better than the other one. Because if the Camille gets ahead, it's going to be really hard to stop them. But if KVM gets ahead, it's going to be really hard to stop them again. So it's going to be about execution, and decision making is going to be really key in this game.
We haven't seen many split push games in the Open Tour, at least not with success so far. We see that KVM Mechelen shines really hard when they can coordinate their team fight, when they all teleport to the bot lane to make sure that the gank from the enemy turns out into a one-team fight by them, where they can keep transitioning into the next objective and always in the early game, taking that lead on. And I feel like this is gonna be the same again because I haven't seen Ollie behind on his hacker room in the first 10 to 15 minutes in any game that we had so far. And they have a potential threat in the lane, Saya, who is able to shove so easily with that passive. They can get Prio there again. Karma also possible to shove against the Galio. And I almost can put some money on them taking that first dragon home. And I want to see if they go for the swap again as well, because they did that today, where they swapped their bot lane very early to top side so they could pick up the Herald next to the Drake.
I kind of like the Xayah pickup here. We could have gone for Samira or Jin, of course. But Xayah also scaling pretty nicely into the later parts of the game. You know, countering the late game Kai'Sa bully and the hyper carry in Kai'Sa. Xayah gonna be able to do the same and gonna be able to dodge out quite a lot of stuff as well with that ultimate, of course. Bubbles, waves, Galio ults, Lilia sleep maybe. I actually don't know if she can stop that at all. So that's gonna be interesting to see.
Maybe if she's in the air at the right time, she could
yeah, that's what I'm
juke
thinking.
it out.
I'm not 100% sure about that one. I haven't seen those two fight each other basically ever, I think. A lot is going to depend, as I said before, on the decision making, of course, with these two teams, with one being split push and one being team fight oriented. Of course, a lot is going to depend once again on Mortar's Wukong, which if he gets ahead and he can bully the Camille and possibly even 1v2 again, it's going to start looking really grim for the Scuttle squad, as we are going to load into, or at least start loading into, this first game of course, a best of 3 between Scuttle Squad, last week's finalist and runner-up of the Open Tour, and KVM, who have yet to reach the semifinals. They made the quarterfinals in the first weekend, and then last week they got knocked out of in the round of 16 against, can't remember who they played last week. Can you help me here?
I'm checking. Last week's game was versus Grove.
Grove, yes. Yes, it was. It was indeed versus Team Grove, as we are gonna.
Aha! Finally, we haven't seen it today. We haven't mentioned it.
We
An
have
open
not.
tour isn't an open tour without a pause.
The first
And
pause
he comes
already.
in and
The game hasn't even started.
yeah, and the pause doesn't give a timer either.
Yeah, I don't know why the pause doesn't give a timer. We're gonna play will resume in 1 second, so both teams are gonna jump into this first best of 3 game. Of course, red side KVM Esports Academy, blue side is gonna be Scuttle Squad or 4 Elements Academy team, and they are both gonna load up on the Rift for the first game of this best of 3. Interested to see who's gonna take this one home. Round of 16, loser of the best of 3 goes home today, and the winner, of course, goes through to the quarterfinals, which will be tomorrow, which will be yesterday, which will be tomorrow. My brain is fried still, which is gonna be tomorrow, of course, at 12 o'clock. So don't forget to tune in then. But now we have these two teams going for the Great Wall of China. No invades. Oh wait, what am I saying? One invade.
Bisco, you are on the other side of the map. He's breathing in the neck of Mahonix at the moment. He's just stalking this fish so hard, and if he starts with Grand Entrance, it might be a pickup here.
They're gonna burn the flash immediately for Mahonix. He's gonna start with the heal, of course. But flash down is gonna be pretty sick, because of course Nami not the most mobile support in the game. As you know, they burn the flash pretty early on, and that's a little bit of a win for the guys on KVM Esports. Something to note, however, by the way, is that Ollie is this time not playing with Ignite. He's actually going for Ghost on Echo in this game round.
Ollie, he's a man with many summoners. You never know what he's gonna what he's gonna bring to the table with his Hecarim. He's running for the Ghost, which means that he is gonna rely on the rest of his team to do the damage. And you see this aggression from KVM. They know Mahonix doesn't have the flash. They instantly jump on him, ignite. But I feel like they might have better waited for the level 2. It receives some decent return damage there as well. And of course, Nami being able to heal, she doesn't mind taking those trades in the lane as long as it's not an all-in.
Yeah, they could have waited for level 2, but of course, we do know that if Xayah and Rakan are in lane together and Xayah starts with her W, that the two of them have a very strong, if not maybe the strongest 2v2 level 1 with the buffed auto attacks on both of the champions. Of course, Xayah actually helps out Rakan's damage as well with a W. So, you know, I understand the fact that they go in on level 1. Pretty nifty to try and poke down Mahonix, but he's back to full HP. No mana issues either. He's fine. No real need to worry.
And you can see that KV Mechela's bot lane is pushing that wave towards the turret. So they have Prio in the river. That means that Scuttle will most likely be picked up by Ollie, but Absent Desire being on the other side of the map will pick up the Scuttle there. So this is fairly okay for her.
Mortar going in and losing the trade
getting
hard.
Stabbed.
Yeah, that was. He thought he could juke it out, but he did not think about Admawodo, who is now looking with his jungler for a little bit of a dive. He doesn't have the clone, and first blood is gonna go to Lilia. You know, pathing correctly and finding the dive and first blood.
And that is a clean play by 4Elements here, because usually we see these kind of things from KV Mechelen, where they put the pressure on early, get the ganks off, but this time Absent Desire is earlier to the gun. And Oli, but bot lane looking for a return. Can they do it on Mahonix when the
Lots
healer
of damage
comes
on
out? Is it enough?
So much damage, not going to be enough. And both bottom laners on the side of KVM actually taking double turret shots of Mindrago. Tries to find the damage. It's not going to be enough. He gets taken down by Maoki. Great flash play by him. Is he going to find a second kill? Not going to be enough. As Oli was there. They spotted him on the ward, but were probably tunneling on the fight. And a 1-for-1 trade in the bottom lane.
How does Mahonix live there, and how is he almost half health again? That was so close for KV Mechelen, but he couldn't finish. No, Oli says, you have cost us too much. I'm gonna take this fish home. Gets the kill. And that makes sure that the board is 2-2. There is basically no gold difference between the two teams. Plays happening top, plays happening bottom. That's how we like it. Meanwhile, Hank still poking Genie, choking out the inner flame there, trying to get some farm, and he'll get his value when he can do this.
When exactly he can just all in here, as Mindrago is here to help his mid laner. Gonna do quite a lot of damage actually onto the Lilia, but not gonna be enough. And she picks up the second kill. And we've seen in the past, not for KVM, but for other teams, that if Lilia gets ahead and can actually roam the map freely, it's a really big nuisance to deal with for the enemies because of her movement speed and just the damage, which can be really insane. So they're gonna have to be careful they don't give away too much here, as now Kai'Sa might be in trouble. Maoki still has flash. They're not gonna be able to go hard on this. Great TP there by Galio. Insane play. TP's under the turret, finds the taunt, and they actually find the kill on Mindrago. Yikes! That was a really sick play.
Props to Genie, is getting poked under the turret by Karma, but gets a gang there, picks up a kill, teleports bot, gets a kill. He is also 6 now, so he has that hero's entrance available for other map places, so he's impacting pretty well at the moment. And we spoke about the Lilia pick. I am a great fan of this pick against the line for KV Mechelen, because they do not have really solid lockdown, really click on stuns as the Sector 1 comp had in the first game.
They have Cyclone, Onslaught of Shadows, and Rakan. I mean, those are all locked down.
If she runs fast, she could out-juke it. It is not so easy to catch a Lilia that goes 100 miles an hour. That's what I mean.
That's true. They don't have like they don't have a Twisted Fate gold card or anything along those
Yeah,
lines to then follow up the rest.
stuff like that. It's like juke this, and she's okay. I'll juke it. then you used your skills for nothing. So they'll have to make sure that Absent Desire is shut down at some point. Of course, KVM Mechelen picking up the first Drake here, as they should. So we know some things don't change in the world. Next one is an Infernal Drake. It means we could potentially have the first Ocean Soul today.
Yes, we could be looking at a first Ocean Soul. Of course, we could be looking at a Mountain Soul as well, which for both teams is going to be the greatest in the world. As Hank is going to be in trouble again. Another engage here. The sleep comes through as well. He finds the bind, finds the shield. Is it going to be enough? The bowling ball gets thrown out. It hits, and eventually with the passive, Genie is going to find the kill here in the mid lane. So 5-2 for Skull Squad, already 2,000 gold ahead. They are looking strong.
Absent Desire doing work on the mid lane, getting Galio ahead. There, of course, what you need to do. You have an opponent who doesn't have any escapes. You have a Galio that has to see for days, and you have damage, which means they are gonna keep fighting. This time on the top lane. This might be bad for KVM Mechelen.
Oh my god, Galio is doing so much work. Finds the flash 2-man taunt. Camille can just instantly and easily, freely just ult one of the other. They try to do a little bit of a turnaround, but it was nowhere near close. 3v2. Galio, at this point, MVPing hard.
And this is an interesting game because we've seen KVM Mechelen as a team that time and time again gets the lead early and then either wins game or they throw it hard. That's a little bit their style so far. But how are they going to react on a game where they fall behind in the early game, where they do not get the team fights that they want, where they can't make the TP play early in the bot lane and get the lead? This is another scenario, and Oli, he has 2 kills. Can he have the same impact when his team is losing as when it's winning? That is a question here. So we'll see what he is gonna do, and how are they gonna stop this Lilia Galio just keep rolling over Hank? He really has to respect the power that they have and make sure that they know where Lilia is, because yeah, that is a lane to feed if I ever saw one.
Yeah, at this point, Lilia 2-0 and 3 with 3-0 and 2 Galio, they're actually just working perfectly together in tandem with each other. Finding the ganks, finding the roams even together. The Galio at this point really pressuring the map hard. Still has his ult, as Camille is going to look for a trade in the top lane. Mortar having some difficulties with Camille, but up till now doing fine. Is 0-2 and 0, but his farm is going steady. He's going basically even with the Camille, slightly behind, but it should be fine at this point. Of course, Ollie 2-1 and 0 on the Hecarim, as Rakan actually misses the base.
They didn't recall
weird.
together.
It was probably just a fraction of a second too late.
Yeah, well, that's getting ditched by your lover there in the bot lane. Feels bad.
Feels bad, man.
Bisco. We'll get back to that. Meanwhile, they are looking to make a play top. Jenny is looking towards the top lane. Might want to use his hero's entrance. Can only do it here. Admawodo is pretty strong at the moment. Can easily get away with the shot as well. Oh, even Hank is there. Like, watch out.
Yeah, Karma's there as well. Admawodo is going to be able to maybe get out of that one. Jukes the damage with his ultimate, actually, and now Lilia is there as well. Galio moving there. Everyone is basically here except for the bottom lane. It's going to be a straight 3v3, 4v4. What's the possibilities here for both teams? Look at the damage from Absent Desire, but it's going to be Galio, Wukong going down. As also in the bottom lane, they're going to be fighting. Minddrago needs to use his flash teleport, going to come through. Karma, Henkerson, going to teleport to the bottom lane, looking for something or other. Not really going to find anything aside from some poke on Mahonix. As Galio does find the kill in the top lane, 4-0-2, 2-0-4 Lilia. These two are just perfectly working together.
I mean, the play from KVM Mechelen was good, but the outplay from 4 Elements was better. They just mechanically did everything right. Admawodo juking the damage from Oli there with the ultimate. And then Absent Desire getting out with 1 HP, getting the kill even on Mortar there is just everything for Elements wanted and more at this point. I mean, there is no retaliating from KVM, it seems, in these skirmishes. They get everything and they get the Herald, and they're gonna keep moving that gold lead in their favor. Of course, under 40 minutes, getting those plates, getting the first turret potentially here. Of course, there are some resistances there to take into account. And Mortar, yeah, we're not used to him getting bullied in the matchup, but of course that early dive from Absent hurt him really much. And it looks like the first streak was for KV Mechelen, but they won't be going for a streak of 4 here. Infernal Drake picked up by 4 elements.
Scuttle squad picking up their first streak of the game here. And it does look like the Oceans bring life. It's gonna be an Ocean Soul here, as well as Mortar is gonna battle it out here with Admawodo. But there comes Galio and Hecarim. They're both in there. They're able to stop the Galio dash. That's where the Rakan is gonna come in, finds the shutdown with the Ignite to, you know, potentially make sure that he gets away, doesn't get away with his flash. Picking up the kill. 2 kills for KV, which is going to be, you know, good for them coming back into this game just a little bit.
They are on Hecarim and on Bisco, so not on Wukong, still good for them. Now a dive here on Mandrago is not able to outplay that one. The ult wasn't available. Teleport coming in, but it's not enough for KV Mechelen to retaliate on this. Meaning they keep extending the lead. They have a solid 2k gold at the moment in their pocket above KV Mechelen. And Oli, he is 3-1. He could carry. He has the IE. He's the Triforce finished. He needs to do it here. He has the damage. And I kind of want to see him help Mandrago a little bit as well, because he has been left for dead for a while now. And as we've seen him last week and this week, he's stepping up to carry. But if he gets like the bully treatment from 4 elements and his team doesn't do anything, I'm afraid we won't see much from Isaiah today.
Yeah, and his ultimate had like 1 or 2 seconds left before he had it to actually juke out the damage. His team was 2 or 3 seconds too late, just 1 or 2 moves behind Scuttle Squad. They're actually out roaming them at this point, as it looks like they do find the sleep eventually onto Wukong because of the AoE damage. They're going to be able to find another dive. Camille not going to tank this one up. Is it going to be enough? Wukong going really low. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, they're going to find Mahonix with the Ignite from the Karma is going to be enough. And now Mahonix man might be in trouble, is in trouble, a lot of trouble. And he gets taken down. But once again, a 1-for-1 trade globally speaking, as Mortar goes down, but Mahonix goes down as well.
It was close, but 4 elements get the first turret here. Mortar playing the weak side here, was not able to survive the 3-man. Genie was a little bit too much for him to handle, because he did play pretty well versus Admawodo and Absent Desire there. He was able to chunk them out, healed a lot with the Core Drinker as well. But of course, you can only do so much. You get in return the Nami, but I'd rather sacrifice my Nami and get the first turret than lose my top laner here. Now Hank needs to run for his life. He is getting chunked and getting taunted. Is he gonna die? No, the flash. Oh, never mind. Oh.
Hank getting bullied hard in this mid lane, flashes over the wall to actually get out. Killer Instinct could be used by Mauki as well. Not being able to pick that one up, as the second Herald of the game goes to Scuttle Squad as well. Of course, they have it in their name, so it's not completely fair. The Scuttle is always on their side.
What's up with that?
This is Hex.
It reminds me of Sector 1 Proving Grounds, where the team names had like dragon names, and then when you had the
They
dragon,
took it.
that was your name. You always picked it up.
You had to pick it
like
up.
This one, they just gave themselves a permanent buff, calling them the Scuttle Squad. However, Hecarim, I've seen him get a few of those river scuttlers already so far. So it's not all theirs, huh? So still sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Both teams giving a little bit, taking a little bit more than they give. This is a classic, of course. And KV still behind. 4k gold at the 16 or 17-minute mark. Gonna be struggling a bit here this game. However, of course, they have the Xayah, which can go into the late game and take on the game, carry it from there. Of course, at this point, 0-3 and 1 has the Gale Force, but that's more or less it, item-wise on Xayah. So it's gonna take quite a long time for him to actually come online. And yeah, they're gonna have to try and stop Scuttle Squad from actually ending the game before that.
Galio being really strong at the moment. Lilia as well. She went for a Zonya rush in this game, which is not something you see often. Usually they go for that dot item. They can just combo with their passive so easily, but absent desire with that Zonya, it tells me that you were wanting to go very deep in these games. Looking at the top side, but I don't think they have the tools to dive Atmawodo with the two of them, especially after the outplay that we saw earlier from him. He is playing a solid match today.
It's gonna be pretty difficult to lock down the Camille here in the top lane, playing, as you said, quite solid up until now. As now look at Lilia, way behind Karma. If she steps up a bit too far, they're gonna see it. Kaiser's gonna be there, and they can sandwich the Karma. But now Lilia in behind the enemy team has to be careful that he doesn't get caught out, of course, by possibly a Hecarim or the rest of the team. But it looks like they're gonna go for Kaiser here. A lot of movement towards him, and now in the top lane, a battle between these two. Level 11, level 12, half HP suddenly on Mortar, uses the Grasp of the Dying to a little bit of a heal, but it looks like he's gonna go for even more damage. Doesn't go for the dive, despite having that exit ultimatum up. Decides against it, of course. Double Cyclone by Wukong could be annoying under turret.
And for now, you can feel that 4Lemons is in the driver's seat here in this game. They have the lead, they have a Dragon Moor as well. They're able to do the picks, and they haven't really used their global pressure with Galio yet. Now we might see it here. There's the engage.
Exec Ultimatum gets used. Flash from Camille to actually get out of that one. They realized that Galio's there. They saw the Nami on top of the board as well. Didn't want to take on that 3v3. Kaiser and Lilia are there as well. So it could have turned into a delayed 5v5, but KVM doesn't want a piece of that. And decide to just back off. At this point, a lot of pressure here. Ooh, as Mortar does go in, finds the Cyclone number 1, finds Cyclone number 2 as well, but gets taken down by Atmawodo. The teleport from Hank Hankerson coming in slightly too late. Gonna get put to sleep as well, as now the gauge from Rakan is being looked at. Kaiser is gonna be here. They don't know if she's there. They know she's there. She's gonna be doing 3 damage. As Lilia picks up another kill. 3-0 and 5. Using the Zonyas there as well to not get focused down completely. As another win here for Scuttle Squad. Another loss for KVM, and it's looking more and more difficult as they're down 5k now at the 20-minute mark, which is a pretty big deficit for them. And yeah, in 2 minutes 30, next Drake's gonna spawn. Gonna look difficult for them to actually contest this. And it feels difficult, yeah.
Mortar got deleted there by Atmawodo in 2v1, which is very worrisome because he is usually the guy that makes sure that his lane is under control, that he can outplay the 1v2s. And this time he has been targeted so hard that he's 0-5. He really can't compete with Atmawodo's Kami this game. So they're gonna have to wait for him to come back in this game. But I'm not sure if the late game from KV Mechelen has any potential to compete against a team that has a Kami, a Lilia, and a Kai'Sa. So I would say that the clock is not in their favor and that they need to play proactive here with their comp and try to get the game back in their hands early, because if they wait, if they try to play reactive on what Scuttle Squad is doing here, they're not gonna cut it.
It could be pretty difficult for them if they keep playing reactively, and at this point, yes, they have to play proactive, and I agree with you. They definitely should, but it's going to be really hard to actually try and do that. They need to look for possibly picks, but they don't really have a pick comp to do that. As you said, no real hard lockdown CC aside from maybe the knockup from Rakan followed up by the rest. If they can do it from, a blind spot from Scuttle Squad, they don't see it coming, then yes, they can. But aside from that, it's going to be actually difficult for them to find this because of their 5v5 comp at this point as well. They're probably not going to win the 5v5.
Yeah, I don't want to see a team fight here. If I would be in the team of KVM Mechelen, they definitely need to show respect to this squad, and you can see them just taking out every bit of vision in their own jungle. Not theirs anymore. The damage from Amagodo, oh my god, is it that karma here?
He even, it looked like Admawodo even gave away the kill to Galio. Yeah, she was binded as well, of course, so not 100% sure if he actually gave that kill away, as the sleep is going to be found on Taxaya. She's going to use her ultimate, but it gets taken down so fast, but now the Galio damage is there, as also Oli gets taken down. Killer Instinct used onto Mortar. He's going to go down as well. That's going to be a clean ace for Scuttle Squad at 23 minutes into the game. Baron is up. Drake number 3 is up. Yikes.
Yeah, this is the reverse KVM play right here. The early game absolutely in favor for Elements. They destroy KVM Mechelen in the team fight. They try to engage on Maoki. He flashes away very early, which means that the main tools like the quickness from Rakan has been used already. Then the rest of the team comes and it's just an easy cleanup for them just because they have that lead as well. Karma already picked up before, and
Ooh.
Hank with the steal here on the dragon. Well, there is room for improvement in the call making for Scuttle Quad here, but of course it is just one Ocean Drake. It's not the end of the world, but it does buy KVM Mechelen some time, else they would have been on Soul Point.
Yeah.
And that would have been a more serious situation in 5 minutes when they would have to contest it. So very good by Hank.
Walking up to the Drake, Mantra queuing on top of it, and actually finding the steal, which, yeah, it's not an insanely big deal for Scuttle Squad in points of getting further behind, but here they go to look for the Camille. Gets knocked up once, gets knocked up twice, and takes a lot of damage and gets taken down. So they take away the soul point from Scuttle Squad. They find a kill in the top lane as well, giving them some more breathing room as Camille cannot continue the split push. And the only annoying part is there's no objectives for them to take off of this.
But it is good that they get that pickup nonetheless. However, it takes everything that they have because they need to see Amawoda for a year there, else he is gonna grapple hook away. And they just succeed in doing that. However, I don't think Mortar will ever be in a spot where he can take the 1v1 off of Camille. In this game has the Hydra completed as well, so much life steal for him in the side lane. And of course Galio that can hero entrance anytime that he wants. We'll see what a fast-paced game for Elements is gonna want to play, because we have seen them do the early game so well, but do they have the same problem with KVM Mechelen that they play clean early, but they have a hard time to finish this fast? I mean, they have a late game comp, so it's positive for them if the game takes long. But if you have a lead like this, where it's almost 10k, then there is no need to stall it out. You can just play it clean and finish early. So we'll see in what manner 4 Elements can do this.
Of course, they're still ahead. 17 kills to 6. Almost a 10k gold lead, by the way. Which is insane at 26 minutes. The damage from Camille is ridiculous. Mortar is incapable of doing anything to stop that, as they do use the early Baron pickup here to push into the top lane, take down that inner turret, and now all inner turrets are down as well, aside from the mid lane. So they're going to start knocking onto that one, doing it by the book, and then followed up by inhibitor turrets, of course, after that one. The mid lane turret is really low as well, I believe, on the side of KVM. It's going to be... they're probably just going to play this by the book, just push the mid lane turret, then reset and then start looking for a dragon prep
Oh,
after
there's a
that.
sleep.
Ooh, they found a sleep onto two people. My Dragon needs to use his ultimate, does quite a lot of damage. But then the Camille with the Hextech ultimatum onto the Xayah. He survives really long though, but it's not going to be enough as Maoki jumps into that one with his killer instinct. Needs one more kill for the triple here onto Mortar. Is going to be enough. Yes, it is. Triple kill and another ace for Scuttle Squad. They lose two members this time around, but it does not matter at all. As Scuttle Squad is now knocking on the inhibitor turrets at 27 minutes.
Are a little bit split in this push here. And yeah, we just asked the question, can they put pressure, keep the momentum going, and possibly end early? Well, so far the answer is yes. They absolutely destroy KVM Mechelen there. And how can you play the game when you get sleeped into a bubble for a year? It is very hard for them to cope with that kind of CC. And yeah, 22 and 8. A super fat mid laner, super fat bot laner, super fat everything basically. Dragon spawning in 40 seconds. I feel like this is not something that KV Mechelen can contest, but that they kind of have to contest. They need to do something, because waiting, as we said, it's not in their favor.
Yeah, waiting's not going to do them any favors. Um, so that could be an issue for them. And by the way, the Lilia build, I love it. The Zhonya's early on wasn't necessary. Sure, you can play more aggressive with Zhonya's if you know your team's going to follow up, because you can buy a lot of time. And then your team's just going to take over the aggro and you can just start prancing around again. But then she went for Dead Man's Plate as well, of course, after finishing the Leander's Anguish. And the Magi Soul Stealer. She's ahead really far. She feels like I'm going to keep snowballing. I'm going to keep continuing to get these kills and these assists. So the Dead Man's Plate is really nice because of the Magi's giving him the AP. And Karma's Moonstone build is not going to do any AP damage. So he can just go armor in AP and shred everything and survive for days.
See that Foreman just keeps threatening, waiting for the waves on the other side to crash in the base so they can pick up that last inhibitor. And as you said, that man's plate, actually it's quite brilliant because he focused the mid lane so hard that he knew Karma isn't the biggest damage dealer or magic damage dealer in the game. And if I shut her down, there is basically no magic damage anymore. I stack a Zonya and a Deadman's Plate. I get tons of movement speed. I can die. I can just soak so much attention from his Mechelen squad. And I do damage as well with my passive and the dot from Leandris. I mean, well played from him there too. Think out of the box with the builds, because I feel like I would not find this on op.gg.
Yeah, you're not gonna probably not gonna find this build really quick anywhere exactly. So it's a great call by Absent Desire going for this, as they do look to take down the second Baron. Smite gonna come down, but they're gonna look for the pick onto Camille. Of course, Galio has his ultimate to jump in, save his top laner. Is it gonna be enough? He's surviving for super long, and now the damage is there as Absent Desire picks up another kill. Killer Instinct jumps into the back on Hank Henkerson. This is gonna be another clean ace for Scuttle Squad after Drago tries to do whatever he wants to. The game completely freezes up on me, meaning that KVM surrenders the first game. Of course, wouldn't have made a difference, as Scuttle Squad would have ended that game regardless at that very moment. Scuttle Squad looking really strong. KVM has some, stuff to talk about.
We can say that Lily had so much impact here. Absent Desire, diving top lane, making plays, going for the early Zonya, going out of the box with the build here. And of course, the guys are being picked away from Drago and played in very good fashion by Maoki. Everyone played clean in their squad. Also mechanically, some outplays were made, and the KV Mechelen, they did try in the end to get a pick, which I like, because it was what they had to do. You can't just sit there and wait for the game to go better. No, you need to do something, because they are scaling out of control anyway, and you're 10 behind, so it was unwinnable at that point. And then still doing that play, still trying to get the pick, just shows me that they're not giving up until the end. And that is a good mentality. They'll just need to go back to the drawing board, see what comp they draft, how they want to play, because I feel like today they are sometimes drafting a comp with a little bit too little damage or too much expectation on Drago, and when he is shut down like this, there is really not much you can do. So we'll see what they do next game. I think we're gonna have a small break of 5-ish minutes, and then we'll be right back for this potentially last game of KVM Mechelen Academy. They'll have to show what they got. So we'll be right back.